I was already in a bad mood and kind of sleep deprived, so I was kind of secretly hoping some fuck shit would happen in the VTuber space, and boy oh boy does the VTuber community never fucking disappoint. The VTuber organization VSEA apparently has a tell-all Google document listing out a bunch of accusations against them. Alright, we got 32 fucking pages of receipts. So the first accusation is that VSEA has breached the Companies Act of 1967, violating Singapore law. And as proof of this, the individual behind the official VSEA Discord account says, "So a team like this was really fun, but yeah, I don't make any money out of it. In fact, I sunk a lot into it." And when asked what the UEN number is, which for anyone who does not know, is a tax registration number that you need in order to legally run a business, the official Discord mod responded with, "What's that? I don't know about Singapore, but in America, you can't run a fucking business without registering that business with the IRS and getting your tax ID number." And what's crazy is it's not like the person running the company isn't aware that they're not registered. They even say, "We're currently not an officially listed company." And when the person making this expose document says, "How old are you? I don't think you know how companies in Singapore work," they simply respond with a crying emoji. And I gotta say, just going through this first slide of this slideshow here, I'm pretty sure whoever's behind this Discord account is like 16. They sure as shit don't talk like an adult with a wealth of years of business experience. Now apparently this person who does not talk like an adult, and I assumed was just like a Discord mod, apparently the VC admin told the talents that he was the CEO of VC and that VC is a company. It was always, "I am the boss," or "I am the CEO. We fact checked this by interviewing the other talents who worked with VC, and it was unanimous." There's more to this particular segment, but I'm gonna skip directly to the next segment for the sake of brevity. Inappropriate management of underage talent. Well, this is surely gonna go well. Regarding the minor allegations, there were 5 minors within the agency. You know, anyone who remembers my coverage of past controversies like this knows that I am not a fan of hiring minors. No one who is like 16 or 17 has the capacity to make serious life-changing financial decisions. But I digress. Let's take a look at these screenshots. This screenshot here has a talent saying, "So I say I'm 17?" And the CEO, and alleged by me to be also a minor, says, "Nah, that's not how the world is gonna see us. If they see we hired a 16-year-old, we are dead, bro." Crying emoji. You know, I don't know about you guys. Maybe I'm full of shit. Maybe I don't know how the world works, but I don't typically see CEOs use crying emojis and misspelling the word dead in their communications with their employees. Maybe that's just me, but this person seems like a fucking dumbass. Or how about this screenshot that says, "Late birthday, I don't know, do you think it'll be a problem? Normally the issue is like grooming minors." Am I grooming you? I feel like you're the one abusing me. Bahahaha. See chat? Frowning face? She's so mean to me. Anyway, as long as we're all good and not, you know, overly sexualizing you, I'm sure we're all fine. I mean, I guess silver lining, there doesn't seem to be any accusations of grooming minors so far, which pretty low bar, but at least we cleared it. When pressed about contracts more, the CEO just said, "It shouldn't concern you until you're 18, which, you know, not how contracts work. A parent or legal guardian has to sign the contract if their child is going to be doing any form of work. That's probably how it works in Singapore too. This particular slide confuses me because the header text says the talent also had issues with admin trying to get their personal info as well. But what's bizarre to me is that they didn't already have it. If you're a legit company and you are an employer of your employees, you have to have their name, address, phone number, all that shit. And just to further push home my point that I'm pretty sure this quote-unquote CEO is like 16, 17, 18, 19, in that age range, is because they were talking about how to pay out the employee. Do you want a direct deposit, etc., etc. The talent says, "I have a para card since it allows 16-year-olds to have a card issued to their parents." And the CEO says, "Grrr, the issue is that I'm not your parent. I can definitely still do it, but if someone finds out, we could run into legal issues." And like, what fucking adult says grrr in a message to an employee? And second of all, yeah, if the card can only be issued to the parent or guardian of a minor, and you're neither, then no, you can't get a Para card in their name. What is happening? Now, apparently, after a talent tried to leave VC, this is what he said. So the talent had said, if I don't see an improvement after the revamp, I'm actually leaving. To which the CEO said, if you're having thoughts of leaving, I'd rather you just go. If you want to stay, I want you to lock in and go serious with me. I will not put investment into you if you're threatening going. I'm gonna leave. Bye. If you do your work properly, show me effort in your content, I will gladly pay for all your shit. I swear to every god, this CEO talks like a teenage girl. Like, you expect a CEO to be an adult man in like what, at least his 30s, if not 40s or 50s? What 50-year-old man in your life do you know that says bye and puts a tilde after it? Here's another screenshot of a VC talent complaining about the lack of management, where they say, look, I know you want me to stay and it'll cause a bunch of problems, but like I seriously cannot, managed or not. Which kind of implies that there isn't going to be too terribly much management in this company, which is, I don't know, kind of the point of a company, but whatever. To which the VC CEO says, I understand some of your considerations and I'm glad you know your own priorities, but I'm just saying the consequences, all the bad stuff will happen to everyone at the corpo, not just me, but everyone else, which, wow, pretty blatant guilt tripping. And like, not even specifying what the bad stuff is, just all of the bad stuff, apparently. Talking about consequences and all the bad stuff makes this feel vaguely threatening, but not threatening in like an actionable legal way, but threatening in a more Mean Girls kind of way, where you're just being kind of petty and sassy and childish. All right, in the next slide, it says, this was also what he said after we all ended up leaving VC. Attention everyone, as there's no one left in VC except 2 people, we'll be taking a long hiatus until November, when another member can debut. And he wants to wait until November because then both of his talents, who are minors, would become of age. Look, if you're running a company and half the company leaves and the only employees you have left after all this shit are a couple of children, maybe give up, fam. So the next segment in this document is about Gen 1.5, which was formed by the admin very soon after Gen 1 was announced. We were generally supposed to be an indie gen, meaning we brought in our own things such as models and everything else, but were attributed to the company. Which, can I just pause? I just want to pause here because number one, this document is kind of melting my fucking brain a little bit with how goddamn irritating it is. And 2, I see shit like this all the time. If everyone in a VTuber group brought in their own equipment, their own models, their own IP, their own PC, everything is theirs. If money isn't being exchanged and promotion isn't being spent with, again, money, your brand name means absolutely nothing. There's nothing wrong with having a nickname for your friend group. In fact, I encourage you to develop a nickname for your friend group because it's kind of fun. But you can't just herd a bunch of your friends into a Discord server and call yourselves a VTuber agency. You're fucking not. Being in an agency or a company or whatever requires money to be exchanged. Anyway, we move on. Apparently, despite supposedly being an indie generation, this gen was never publicly announced, due to most of us leaving and it being dissolved shortly after. The 4 out of the 5 people ended up leaving, which made admin dissolve the gen. And we had the CEO saying, hi chat, I'm probably dissolving Gen 1.5. We'll focus on Gen 1 first. Now you're just friends of VC for now. Hee 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 hee. Feel free to hang out and play video games. Cat emoticon. It's been lovely hosting you lot. Hee hee. Apologies management wasn't up to par. Hope to see you around one day. I mean, honestly, I feel like we can stop reading at this point. I mean, I still will in case there's something interesting, but really here the CEO straight up admits that they are bad at their job and they don't have a company. Even admitting what I ranted about earlier, how without contracts and money and all that jazz, you're not a company, you're just friends. Now, this next bit I won't spend too much time on. Basically, the CEO allegedly said the talents would keep 95% of the chat revenue, he would take 5%, but he would keep all merch revenue. Now, this part of the document is complaining that they don't get a cut of merch revenue. But honestly, my concern isn't the fact that the talents are getting a cut of merch revenue, because they're probably not going to sell a shitload of merch, because this doesn't look like a successful business model. And how the fuck is it going to be even remotely sustainable when you're only taking 5% of the revenue of a tiny company that can't even retain employees? There's no shot. The shoujo can afford to not take any of their talents super chat revenue and just make money off of merch revenue, but that's because the people that they're bringing on are fucking superstars that are massively famous that they know are gonna rake in a shitload of money. Nothing about this revenue split makes any sense. Only taking 5% of super chat revenue isn't sustainable, and taking all merch revenue makes talents not motivated to shill their merch if and when it actually does come out, because why are you going to advertise something that you're not going to get a cut of? This is nonsense. I'm also going to cruise through this next part because I feel like you're kind of getting the idea now. Admin constantly told us to make stuff for him. Below is proof that the admin isn't paying us much, and sometimes even making us rush deadlines with little to no money or even no money at all. And that's not just the talents. There's a whole nother segment about artists not getting paid. What's particularly notable is that these commissions that he's stiffing artists on aren't even wildly expensive commissions that like maybe he couldn't scrounge up the funds for. This is a commission for $15 that he bought 2 of. Bro doesn't have $30. How are you going to run a VTuber company if you can't scrounge up $30 fucking dollars? This is why I think the CEO is actually a child, like a teenager or something, because how do you not just have $30 in your bank account? Now this is new, this is interesting, because the VC admin or CEO or whoever the fuck this person thinks they are was too goddamn incompetent to make the talent sign any NDAs at all. We have a rare opportunity to have interviews with the talents, named talents. No NDA, man. Holy shit. I've actually never seen this before. What the fuck is going on? Ex-talent Danny Drywall says that they are down 246 Australian dollars and very upset. They're angry with management. They're angry that the NDAs, the contracts, the website, the emails, the money, all of it was garbage. It felt like a group of friends who said, let's make a band without knowing how to play. And yeah, I feel like that's pretty descriptive of this entire event. And it's also particularly telling when they go on to say, do I believe shady actions were made? Yes. Intentional? No, just plain naive. Also, the admin made the talent get the app Revolut in order to pay them. She says, I was, quote, asked to make 3 separate purchases using their digital credit card within the app, and the invite code would be sent to them by the admin. He said it would give him $100 if I did so, and I assumed that money would go to me, as it was my money I was spending to do this. I was wrong. So, not only is the admin not paying the talents, he's also fucking scamming them? What the fuck? And as we're cruising right on through this document, brushing over a lot of stuff that I'll let you guys look over in the pinned comment, they say here, apparently all the managers just disappeared one day. Everyone with the manager role, poof, gone. I was told at least one of them was a friend, so I assumed they were all friends who were in the server at one point, which is unprofessional as the server was used to conduct interviews and our past live accounts could have been seen. Further proof that this was never a real company, this was just a bunch of random friends trying to scrounge a group together. Alright, we're one segment away from the miscellaneous and closing statements, so let's speed through this. Lack of talent privacy. Admin likes to talk. A lot. Well, yeah, because this alleged adult man acts like a teenage girl. And to support my point that the admin talks like a teenage girl, here we have the CEO going, okay, so she's facing a small issue now where she needs a lot of attention because she just dumped her boyfriend. So she's very difficult right now. Or this bit, you said you dated before, right? Wondering if you can help me with something? Did you break up with people before? Look me in my eyeballs and tell me an adult man talks like this. And to further drive home the complete lack of privacy, here we have the CEO slash admin slash whoever the fuck this person is, just straight up gossiping. Like, what sort of CEO, when describing their talents, goes, Kyore, Kyore, fucking Kyore? And in the miscellaneous category, we have using his talents to make free art and assets, being really bad at damage control and actively trying to fix things or cover things up, claiming they'll own up to their mistakes and fix everything, and then obviously not doing that. And their closing statement just thanks us for our time and emphasizes that VC is not a registered entity, not a legal business. Now, I'll leave up the TLDR listed in the document, but I'll give you my own TLDR. Either a gossipy teenage girl or an adult man who acts like a gossipy teenage girl was in their Discord server with all of their besties. They were like, making a VTuber company doesn't sound that hard. You just invite people into your Discord server, make them do a shitload of work for you, and then take all their money. Easy! But what these gossipy teenage girls and or adult men who act like gossipy teenage girls failed to realize is that running a VTuber company requires you to be a fucking company. There were no contracts, there were no NDAs, nobody got paid for shit, nobody got any halfway decent management, everyone who was a manager fucking left, all of the talents fucking left. This was a scam all the way through. Look, normally within these things, I would want to end the video trying to be objective or saying all these things are just allegations or we don't know the whole story, but I looked at the screenshots. There were receipts for everything that was accused. The admin slash CEO slash gossipy teenage girl at the center of all this just straight up admitted to everything that they're being accused of. So it's kind of hard to call all this alleged when all of it is in fact not alleged but confessed. And number two, no NDA was signed. So there's no beating around the bush, there's no speaking in vague terms so as to not violate a contract. Nobody's changing their name so that this can't be tied back to them, so we don't actually know who the person making the document even is. No, we've fucking got named people, members within the company who are able to speak freely because they never signed an NDA. It's honestly hard to even be angry at this point because it feels like everyone involved is literal children and or adults who act like literal children. Normally when there's a blatant scam and shitty terms and bad management, you can be justified for assuming that there's some sort of malice at play. There's greed at play. There's a lot of complex issues at play. But truly, genuinely, this is just childish incompetence all the way down. But you've heard me rant about this document long enough, and I am beyond curious to hear what everyone's opinions about this situation are in the comments down below. Do you have any doubts about the validity of this expose document? Do you think there was any malice at play and intentional scamming happening? Or do you agree with me and think that it was just incompetence? And just for the sake of my own curiosity, do you believe the CEO slash admin was an adult man as they claim to be? Or do you agree with me and think they were a teenage girl? That's probably the least important detail, but it's the one I find the most interesting and entertaining. But that's all I've got. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Bye guys!